Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm going to be doing a look that is based on kind of my favorite sort of makeup to wear in warmer weather. I've got my morning coffee with me. Day is going beautifully. I'm just going to jump in and get started. I'm going to start by putting on some kind of glowy primer, hydrating glowy primer underneath my base products today. This is the Elevated Glow from Eldridge, and this is the shade, I think it's Cosmic Rose. I thought I was purchasing the new shade in Pink Moon, and I got pink and rose mixed up. I was on the website, I was super excited, and I ordered the wrong one. So Pink Moon is coming, but I decided since this is just a little bit darker than my natural skin tone, I could use it underneath foundation just to give me a glowy base the way I've been doing with other glowy products. And I love looking really glowy and dewy and glass skin, especially in the warmer months. Oh, I love it because I'm always just a little bit sweaty in the summertime. I don't know about you, but I thought we'd just embrace it and really go for it. I always lean on a corrector. This is the one from Beauty Pie. This is the Super Luminous Under Eye Genius. I like that it's hydrating, but not too hydrating. I like also that it has a slightly pink lean to it. I can just put like a little dab here, and if I wanted to leave the house like this, I feel like I could. And there are some days in the warmer months when, you know, this, a little lip gloss, and then I'll tap my fingers over the gloss or sheer lipstick and tap it here, and that's all I do. But we're gonna do a little bit more than that today. The other thing is, I'm dealing with a little bit of an unexpected friend. So my favorite thing to do is to take a really high coverage foundation like this, and like the smallest little baby pump, like that's it. That's even too much. I'm gonna put that here, and I'm gonna use a little tiny brush like this. And I'm just going to spot conceal the places where I feel like I need just a little bit more coverage. I'm gonna hit this hyperpigmentation spot here. Oops, that was unexpected. And I'm just gonna take a small amount of this. I'm gonna use some concealer in a minute, but I want to hit the spots where I know like I have like hyperpigmentation, redness, and then I'm just going to take a minute to kind of tap these in. You can always do this over the top of foundation if you want a little bit more coverage. You know, do your foundation first, a light layer, and then something like this. This is a technique that I learned from Eldridge. She talks about doing pinpoint concealing. If you search on her channel years ago is when I started doing pinpoint concealing. And then I think within the last 12 months, she did one called patchwork, something with the word patchwork in there, but it's basically like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, depending on where you need coverage, so you can still look like you have a mostly skin-like appearance. And that's what I want. I want my skin to look like skin, but better. And when you're still dealing in your late 40s with hormonal acne, well, I can't change that, but I'm gonna do my best to make it look the best I can. I picked up this brush. This is the BK Beauty A506. It's one of the ones from Angie Hot and Flashy's collab. I just in the last year, I think it was this time last year, I started asking people, who are your favorite YouTubers to watch who are over the age of 40? And somebody mentioned Angie Hot and Flashy, and I was like, great. So when I saw this, this was the one brush I really wanted from the set, but at first they were only selling it as a set. I'm just gonna go into the Glossier Stretch Concealer. It's my favorite for kind of like a no makeup look. And when they finally split them up and started selling them as individuals, I was excited because at first it was like, I think 120 or 140-ish dollars for the full set. And I was like, I don't know that I'm going to use every single one of them. But when they started letting the sets be sold like as individual brushes, I got this and then I fell in love with it. This shape is modeled after their, I think one of their best-selling brushes, their foundation brush, which is a lot denser, a lot larger, but this for me is perfect for right under the eyes. I love the way that it's angled. It just tucks right in here, gets all the way to the inner corner. It's not pokey. I love it. I liked it so much. I got this at the end of April, and it arrived early May. And when I tried it the first couple of days, I realized I like this so much I want another one. And then they were having their Mother's Day sale and I was like, oh yes, please. So I picked up one of these, another one, so that way when this one needs to be washed, I have a clean one ready to go and I never have to be without. I hope they continue, even when the collaboration is over, to make this brush in this size available. But I'm just trying BK Beauty, you know, for the first time with this product, and I like it quite a lot. I like natural hair brushes for eyes and for cheeks, but when it comes to like base products, bronzers even, I really do like a nice synthetic brush. And I feel like with just that, which is not a lot, just kind of making sure I'm hitting all the spots here, I feel like I have very little, but just enough. And I do still have like the majority of that little blob here. So if I feel like I'm missing, you know, as I finish my face, like, oh, I need just a little bit more here, I'll either use the concealer, the stretch concealer. I kind of use like a light layer of foundation where I need it, or pinpointing with a higher coverage one to make sure that if it starts poking through later, we don't really have to see it. I need to set my face and I just tip some in here, but I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This is so affordable and such a beautiful product. I'm going to use just a little bit of this on a small little targeted, that's even too much, brush. I'm going to make sure I don't have any product settling into the crinkles under my eyes. And I have been using kind of like a small, slightly domed brush like this, but I find that this even smaller one here that I felt was a little big on my eyes to be using for eyeshadow is great for placing a little eye goober, for placing powder just underneath the eye. I like that so much. I have started changing some of the things that I do now that I'm in my, in my late 40s. If you would be curious to know, you know, the sorts of changes that I have made, let me know. I'd be happy to do a video like that. I don't have any primer or any concealer on my lid. I always end up with just a little something right here in the crease at the beginning, but I'm just gonna set my lid a little bit because I'm gonna put a little something down later. But my idea here is just to make sure this area is set, and then with a slightly larger brush and a very minimal amount of powder. The other places where I tend to get really glowy, right here in the middle of the forehead, my nose, because in the warmer months, no amount of powder can counteract the oils that crop up on my nose. So I'm gonna do this a little bit heavier today than I normally would. And I'm just gonna tap it out right across the pores, right through here, because those are the ones that are a little bit more visible on me. And tamping them down with a little bit of powder is good. And I'm just gonna continue to take this powder straight on down the T-zone. I'm gonna set my chin, corners of my mouth, corners of my nose, and that's it. I feel like if I keep going at this point without doing something to my eyebrows, it's just gonna drive me crazy. So I'm gonna grab a super affordable product. This is the e.l.f. Wow Brow. You can get this for $5 or less at the drugstore. This type of product is one of my favorites for brows. A couple years ago, I could not have done just this. About a year ago, maybe a year and change, I started using a serum, I'm not real good at it, on my eyebrows. And I find that I have, you know, more hairs coming in. They're darker and they're longer. And some of the gaps that I have, you can still see this is my thinnest eyebrow. And right here is my problem area. But before, it looked like I had like one hair here, and two little stragglers over here. Like I had 4 little hairs, and you can actually see it almost all connects. So that what I do is I take a fiber brow product that has a tint to it, and I start back combing. And I prefer a smaller wand, because if the spoolie is too big and I have really thin sparse hairs over here, it can be a little hard. But when I back comb, it deposits not just the fibers, but also the gel, the tinted gel on the back side of the hairs. And it, you know, like mascara, more coats, you're building up more product, a little bit more bulk. And I even go through, and especially in some of my sparser areas, I give it a real good back and forth scrub. And then I just brush them up where I want them. And if I ever feel like I would like a little bit more definition over here or a little bit more over here, I go in for a second dip and then just go back over that spot carefully. It's not going to be a perfectly blocked brow. That's okay. I do like a slightly wispier look, but it has a little bit more definition than it did before we started. I feel like I still do have a little gap over here, and I'm focusing most of my serum like right in this area. But I feel like my brows are in a better place than they were. And using a product like this on a day where I'm not wearing a full face of makeup, so I don't feel like I have to use a pencil, you know, use a powder, use one of those fine tipped brow markers. I can just use one product and call it good. I feel like I'm at the point where if I started trying to place things still with the spoolie that comes with the e.l.f. Wow Brow, I'd be continuing to distribute a little bit more product than I want. So I'm just gonna take a clean spoolie and make sure that if I have places that need to be brushed out, I do that before we're completely dry here. Place the hairs exactly how I want them, and then just leave them alone. This over here is like my problem child eyebrow. I have so many hopes for it. It's still doing its own thing. And one of these days I'm hoping everything's gonna fall into place and it will no longer be the problem child eyebrow anymore. There are days where this is about as far as I get. So I'll take a sheer glossy lip product, swipe it on my lips, not too careful, dab fingers over it on both hands, and then place whatever color is there and just tap it on my cheeks, and that's it for the day. Now I have a little bit more time today, but I just wanna let you know you can edit this look down. It doesn't have to be, you know, a full face. On days when you want a slightly lighter look, just think, what are the things that you want to highlight? I always like a bold brow. I always like a lip product, and your girl needs concealer, okay? Those are like the non-negotiables for me. So I will frequently skip mascara, bronzer, highlight, lip pencil, eyeliner, like all of that, but I want a little something in my three little hairs brows over here. I need concealer or I look like I'm 30 years older and somebody has punched me in the eye, and I live for a lip product. So those are my three things that I love. But at this point, because we got the time, I'm gonna throw on just a little bit of a cream product. This is one of my favorites, probably my favorite cream bronzer. This is from This is their So Soft Multi Face Play, and this is the lightest shade in Summer. You can use this by itself if you want just a slightly kind of warm and glowy look. You can blend it with your fingers. I always like blending with one of these dense buffing brushes because it just blurs the edges so quickly. This down here is because I'm making bad choices and drinking sugary beverages and still trying to make myself think that I won't see what's going on under here. But I still do this because I know what's going on. I'm just trying to like, not today. So remember, you can edit this down to whatever you want to do. I'm going to throw on a cream cheek product, and I'm trying to decide. I have 2 little acrylic storage containers and I have 2 drawers full of cream products. I think I'm going to use this one. This is one that I have not used on my face yet. It's a shade that I picked up recently. This is the shade Bitten. It looks really bright. And I can't apply it like this to my face, although it does blend beautifully. I'm just going to make it a little bit easier for myself. I'm going to take another brush like this. I'm going to stamp around on the back of my hand here. See how easy it blends? But it's still a pretty bold shade. So I am just going to lightly tap this on the high points. I'm not being too careful. I should always be a little bit more careful because I find later I have blush in places I didn't intend. But on days like this where I'm kind of like not caring too much, I don't worry. For years, I used to think a red tone blush was too much for me until I started just dabbing my fingers in whatever red lipstick I was wearing and then doing this. And I was like, I love red, especially on my cheeks. So I really like this kind of bold shade in Bitten. And don't worry about, you know, really intense shades of blush. I think it all comes down to how much you apply. If you need to, you know, mix it a little bit with a liquid highlight, if you need to mix it with a little bit of your moisturizer or a glowy primer, just so that you can maybe thin it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be as bold as it comes out. And if you want a really bold cheek, really go for it. I think that summertime, I feel like rules kind of break in summertime and you can just kind of do whatever you want. I don't know if it's like the whole festival makeup vibe that happens, you know, spring, early summer, or whether it's just kind of like, it's summer, I'm wearing my flip-flops, I'm having fun, I don't care. I always just let myself be less precise and more adventuresome in my makeup choices when the weather warms up. I'm ready for a highlight and I'm gonna throw on my favorite shade. This is the first one that I bought of the Elevated Glow. Remember, I have the shade Cosmic Rose underneath, but I'm gonna throw a little bit more of this on. And this is the shade Crystal Nebula. I think the best thing to do here, because this is a really liquid product, I find that when I just dot it on my face and start blending, especially when I have really thin layers of makeup, it can disturb it really easily. So I'm gonna take the time to make sure that I have a super, super, super thin layer here. And then just start lightly tapping and placing this right where I want it. I really like the way my skin is looking right now. I feel like you're definitely seeing, you know, this really pretty but very elegant highlight. I'm happy with that. I'm ready to do just a little something on the eyes, like the lightest of anything I could possibly do. I happened to pick this up during the recent Viseart spring sale. This is a palette that has a lot of warmer neutrals, a mix of mattes and metallics, and a pop of blue, orange, and yellow. I'm not gonna go for the blue, orange, or yellow today. I am just gonna stick to those neutrals. So I'm gonna grab kind of like a large-ish fluffy brush here, and like this shade, I feel like it has my name written all over it, like, use me. So, ooh, that might be too much. Just tapping off the excess here. And I'm gonna hit this right in the crease. You know what, maybe I am gonna go for this kind of peachy orange shade here. It's very pretty. I might just put a little bit of this out here. Lightly tap it in on both sides and then mix it in with another metallic. So you get a hint of it without it being too much. I don't want you to think that you need to run out and get this palette. Just use whatever shades that you have that make you feel confident. Whatever shades you like to use. This one right here is calling my name. This metallic is Gorge. And I'm just gonna swipe this over the eye and even over that slightly orangey shade, just to kind of make it all blend together and look a little bit more effortless. I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade here. This is that first shade I laid down on a smudging kind of brush. Run a little bit of it for the lightest possible hint underneath my lash line. Throw on some liner and mascara and I'll be right back. So the last thing I wanted to do, I was deciding between, do I wanna just throw on like this color blush here and call it good, just kind of smudge it out? Because that's a fun look. If you have a cream product that you like to use, you could use a lipstick here and then use it on your cheek. If you don't have like a large cream cheek product collection, I'm gonna take my fingertip just over this and give myself just a hint of color here. I really like the way this looks, where it's not a really delineated line around the edge of my lips, where there is no real obvious lip product, where the edges are just slightly smeared and you're wondering, is that really her natural lip color? Now, obviously this is not my natural lip color, but I feel like if you have a product that does that, that kind of pushes that line of, are you wearing lipstick or not? That's a great one for a day when you're doing a minimal makeup look, a little bit more on the skin and glowy and less everywhere else. But because I do want a little shine, I'm gonna throw on a little bit of this. This is the Honest Tinted Lip Balm. This is their shade Blood Orange. If you love a beautiful, glossy, glowy lip, there's a ton of products out there at a variety of prices. My favorite ones from the drugstore, I of course love this $5 e.l.f. Sheer Slick. This is gorgeous. I have the shade Black Cherry. It's a dead-on dupe for the Clinique Black Honey. And that's a glowy, glossy, kind of works for everybody's shade. I also love the ones from Revlon. These are the Super Lustrous Glass Shine. My favorite shade is Nude Illuminator. It is the most beautiful, shiny, Barely There nude lipstick. I have the one in Glossy Rose, which is a little bit pinker. I have Fire and Ice. I really love this formula, and I love when I can find them for under $6. One that I've been trying recently is this Green Edition. These are the glossy lip blushes. Is that what they're called? Balmy lip blushes, and this is a shade here called Lightning. This one feels more like a lipstick. The other ones feel more like almost like a gloss and stick form. The one that I'm wearing today is $9. She is from the drugstore. This is Honest Beauty. You can get this at Ulta. You can get it on the Honest website. They've got a ton of colors. This is a beautiful formula. And another one that I like, that I really prefer over a formula I tried more recently, this is from L'Oreal. This is their Color Riche Plump and Shine. They have just their regular shine. They have their plump and shine, and the ones that I don't love too much are the Glow Paradise lipsticks. They look like this. So I like the ones that have like this little, it almost looks like a quilted out exterior. These guys are not my favorite. I think they smell funny, I think they taste funny, and I have 3 shades and I don't like any of them, but I really like this formula. It's a glowy, glossy, you know, easy to wear formula, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. So the shade that I have here is Wild Fig, but this comes in a variety of shades. You can get kind of a bold berry shade like this one, or you can go for more of a nude or a pink. If you're wanting something a little bit more expensive, but still not like crazy, 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 I really love the lip cushions from M Cosmetics. I have 3 of these. I have been enjoying this. This is newer to my collection. This is the Makeup by Mario. What is it? Their Moisture Surge Plumping Lip Serum, whatever it is, their moisture plumping product. Love this so much. I have the shade Mauve Glow, and again, really, really shiny, sheer, beautiful. And I love the Ultra Lip. This is a product that launched last year from Glossier. I have the shade Fête. Like, they're all shiny. Some are shinier than others, but these are beautiful, lightweight, hardly there, easy to put on. If you don't have a mirror, you're not going to kill yourself. Now, if you really want to treat yourself, if you really think that, you know, you've been good, you deserve something extra, one of my favorite formulas that is kind of glossy, balmy, sheer is the YSL Rouge Volupté Shine. These are $38. These are not an everyday sort of lipstick purchase. I feel a lot less guilty picking up this $9 baby right here, or this one here that's even less. But if you want like to really feel bougie and expensive and like that person every time you pull it out of your handbag, get you one of these. Another one that I really like, and I forget the name of it because on the bottom it doesn't even say what it's called, or if it does, my eyes are too old to read it. But this is one of the kind of glossing, balmy lip products from Gucci. I mean, sheer, glowy, beautiful. I think these are in the $40, $42 range, a little more expensive. I also like the Dior, what are these called? These are the Dior Addict Stellar Shine. Oh, these are so pretty. Also, really sheer and balmy, and they're so much fun. The packaging on these really makes you feel like you're pulling out a work of art every time you apply it. One of my favorite lipstick formulas that is this kind of glossy, balmy are these ones from Lisa Eldridge. I have 6 here, 1 more in my purse. These are the Luxuriously Lucent lipsticks. Oh my goodness. So these are going to be sheer. They're going to be lightweight. There's a variety of shades. And they're not as shiny as the rest, but what I like about that is that they stay where I put them. Like this one from Makeup by Mario, and even the Plump and Shine from L'Oreal can sometimes, because they're a little glowier, a little glossier, they can sometimes feather out. But these ones from Lisa don't. They're $36. So you are treating yourself when you purchase one of these. But if you're thinking about some of these more like luxury brands, this is luxury, it's fabulous, and it's just a few dollars less. I really like the formula, and it works really well on my 47-year-old lips. And I find that I've had this formula for the last 3 years, and the colors all still work for me. She debuted them the first time, I think in 2019, with her Summer Pinks collection with Love of My Life and Go Lightly. I still have both of those, I still use them, but I love the new shades I picked up last year. And I picked up another one that's living in my purse, and it's Rose Official. They're just beautiful. They feel good on the lips. They last for a long time. They're fantastic. So if you're looking for an easy, lightweight, glowy lip product, you can treat yourself Or you can do something that's a little bit more affordable that still looks amazing on the lips, because this little $9 beauty right here, oh, we're getting along real well. I don't want you to leave this video feeling like you have to have exactly what I have. This video was not a tutorial on how to get this look, but just kind of like ideas of how you can do something easy and fast to look polished, but to focus on the areas that you want the most. I tend to go for brows, for concealer, and lips. Like, those are my three things. If I'm gonna sit down and do makeup, I'm gonna definitely do those three. And then from there, you know, if I have time, I'll add a few more things. Usually it's blush and highlight for me, and eyes are usually the last thing I do if I get around to it. But maybe you are a die-hard liner mascara person. You will not leave the house without it. You know, lipstick be hanged, and that's fine. So think about the things that if you were to leave the house and you had to go quickly, what are the things that you want? Do you like this kind of glowy, glassy, almost like not much base makeup look? Or do you want more coverage? Figure out what those products are and kind of streamline it down to just the bare minimum, and you'll get out of the door lickety split. I'm also super curious to know what sort of changes or tweaks do you make to your makeup routine when the weather starts warming up. I wear less, and I wear really light layers, and I go kind of glowy, so if I get kind of sweaty, you really can't tell. And I tend to wear less eye makeup overall and lean heavily on a lipstick, but that's just me. Let me know what your tricks and tweaks are in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.